lot of sip. Don't really have much of an itinerary for today. I do have to check on the kitty. I was going to do some brainstorming for a couple of business ventures, and then I was gonna work on one clothes treatment for queens. I may go longboarding later on today just to help like clear my mind. Maybe might do that at Tempe Town Lake. I don't know. I have a little story about how I was learning how to longboard, and I don't know if I actually want to do it near Tempe Town Lake just because of that story, but I'll elaborate on that later on today. But let's get this coffee and get this day started, shall we? I got a little shy actually recording in there, so I couldn't like get the footage that I actually really wanted to get. But they're opening up their third location. Oh, that's a little scary. They're opening up their third location. Why am I chopped off? On Shea and Scottsdale Road. They have two. There's one in Old Town and then there's one in Arcadia. The one that I love to go to is the one in Arcadia because it's a bit closer to home. While I'm waiting for my opportunity to go, I decided to be a little adventurous with my makeup. Even the guy that I see on the norm for my coffee, I see one of three guys. He's like, "Oh, you look awfully sparkly today." I'm like, "Oh, well, thank you, sir." But yeah, I decided to be a little bit adventurous. Last time I adventured with doing a cut crease, and then I was kind of dabbling in it today, but I was just like, I just wanted my wing game to be strong. But I don't know, I could do a tutorial on it one of these days. I was low-key going to do it, but I got a FaceTime call from the boo, so that was my makeup tutorial went to that, to that, and he's just like, I watched that whole thing, I was like, yes you did. But he's just like, wow, that's a lot to do for like a female, and he's like, I feel like it's so unnecessary. I'm like, well, to some, yes, like I enjoy doing it because I'm just like, you can see the before and then you can see the after, and I kind of gave him a breakdown of like makeup history because I actually had to do it for like a public speaking course on like something that like piques our interest, and we had to do like a backstory, like the history of it, and I chose makeup. And basically a lot of people don't know, like for the Egyptians, like yes, they did like the whole winged eyeliner and like the red clay and all these other various things in the wigs, but the main reason why they did all of that was for sun protection. And it just so happened that like they liked how they looked in it, and so of course like you have that whole beauty bit and then sun protection, especially when it came to wigs, because like the tops of their head, so because I had sun, you don't really have like a lot of shade or anything. And then for like France and everything, with like the white powders and then the rouge and what they use, and like that's where like a lot of the dentures and such were kind of first created, was over there, because they were obsessed with like the whole youthfulness, and like the white powders and such that they would use have like poison in it, so a lot of people would die from it. The dentures that they would use, they would either use other people's human teeth, or they would use like walrus or elephant tusks to create the teeth that they didn't have. And like it would have like this rank smell because like their personal teeth were like rotting and decaying, but the price of vanity. And with like today's day and age, like they've done a whole bunch of like research and such on it of, oh, does the person that you're attracted to, do they have like a glow to them? Do they have like a nice flush of their cheeks because they have like a good healthy circulation of their blood? Symmetry, like are they symmetric so that you can see like, oh, they have like the least flaws, so like your child, if you wanted to procreate with that person, they wouldn't have any like birth defects or anything. And so when it comes to like makeup, it's a means of having like that healthier look so that you have the ability to attract a better mate. And I'm like, that's where it kind of stems from. And yes, like there's a whole bunch of money and such in it. And he's just like, I feel like that's all unnecessary, because like if like you're wearing makeup, like that's why he always has this thing on like his Facebook, like, oh, trust issues, whatever number he's freaking on. I think he's like in the thousands, but I think he's a character in and of himself. But there's that whole trust issue. But he's like, well, I feel like if you weren't wearing any of that, like you would still have like a nice flush to your cheeks and you would have like a healthy glow. And I'm like, yeah, that's probably true. But when you've been conditioned, especially like as a child, like if your mother is wearing all of this makeup and such, like, sorry, my arm's getting tired. If your mother is wearing the makeup and such, like that's your first form of beauty, and you see her without it, you probably still find your mother very beautiful without her makeup, but then you see her dolled up and you kind of low-key get an appreciation for, wow, my mom just spent hours getting ready for a date for her guy, and like that's the standard. Like I wouldn't want my female counterpart to put in that much effort to doll herself up for me. And there's like a yes and no factor of that. Like I like to do this type of stuff for me. I don't do it to like attract a mate or whatever, but I'm just like, if he can appreciate like my hard work, I'm like, oh, thank you. Because like some people take like hours to get ready and they have like all of these like tips and tricks on like how they get ready and such. So I don't know, some people just think, oh, it's so surfacey. No, there's roots, there's a history to that. Men and women did it in the past, especially like in the Shakespearean, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, age. Like a lot of women weren't allowed to act and do all of these various things, so like men would have to play the role as women. And what did they have to do? Wear makeup, wear heels, wear all of these various things. So in this day and age, like some people are like, oh, cross-dressing or drag, or no, people have the freedom to wear what they want to wear, and there's a history of it from like way back when. Like at the end of the day, who is anyone to say that it's wrong? And in all honesty, from my perspective, I feel like there is like a deep appreciation for like the history of makeup and how each culture used it, like the whys of it, what they used, and the extent of people using it. Yesterday on Snapchat, I saw, you like know how like they have like all the little news and little articles when you swipe furthest to the left, swiping to the left. Well, one of them was talking about plastic surgery and like the extent that people go to for their form of beauty. And there was this one woman that took like 6 ribs out so that she could have a 14-inch waist. And in my head, I'm just like, logically speaking, I don't think that will work for her long term, because how is she going to support her top half? I feel like she's gonna like snap in half, and it's scary, because I'm just like, you don't know when it's going to happen. But I mean, if that is her sense of beauty, who am I to tell her, hey, that's wrong? That's not my body, that's her body. And she's not putting any harm to anyone else except herself. And that's her. I'm simply a bystander. Do I want that for myself? No, but who am I to tell her that she's wrong? I'm not. I'm definitely not. And I feel that no one really has the right to tell her, hey, you're wrong for doing that. There's another gentleman that is obsessed with looking young, and he has spent over $80,000 on surgeries, and he's had about 90 to 92 surgeries this far because he's trying to work against aging. I'm just like, $80,000. Jeez, that's like a house. Ugh, I don't know. It's just a mess. And then here's my attempt to reverse park. Doot, doot, doot. Oh, whip it. Whip, 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 whip. And then the main focus of the discussion, and hello, I like to have like these types of discussions with my other half, but it was about a woman who is obsessed with having her butt really, really big. And of course, like with anyone who would say something like that, you would automatically think like Kim Kardashian or something. And she focuses on, I'm gonna sit here for a second. She focuses on like eating a whole bunch so that she could get the fat sucked out and injected into her butt. And I'm just like looking at the photos, and I'm just like, what? Granted, I have thought about going under the knife like in the future because I would want a breast augmentation. And of course my other half is just like, I don't get it. Why do you need it? You don't need it. And to me, I just want to be perkier. And everyone has said, oh, just wait till like you have kids because like if you breastfeed or this, that, or the other, like your boobs will sag, and then it would be a more appropriate time to like have that done. And I know plenty of gorgeous women that have had their breast, augmented. More power to you for getting that done, because they say that they do it for themselves because they feel more confident in doing so. And for me, I'm just like, it's not for anyone else, oh, look at me, or oh, this will make me more attractive to seek out a partner, or this, that. Like, no, I don't need that. But for me, I'm just like, I think ever since I was like a kid, like I was like fascinated with the female form. And yeah, I have like a backside, and for what I've been told, I'm very proportioned, but once I get to a point where I'm not really as proportioned as I would like, I could grow my ass. I've done it. I did it because I had a very like saggy backside, and that was during like my health journey, and I could probably elaborate on that in the near future. But it was a time where I ripped my size 14, I was creeping up to a size 14 khaki pants at work, and I ripped them. And even with creeping into a size 14, like I had a very saggy, cottage cheesy ass. So I did my squats, I did like all the stuff like on the Stairmaster, I did all of these things as like a full leg workout for several years, couple, maybe 2 years or so, 2-3 years or so. And then I would do like isolated muscle workouts, mainly for like my backside, because not a lot of people know that your backside is comprised of like 3 main muscles. So like I would have to work on that. For boobs, yeah, you could work out your pectorals and like you'll make it look like you are a bit firmer and this, that, or the other, but your breasts are mainly comprised of fat. And yeah, you can eat as much as you want to try to get yourself fuller, but same thing where you can't focus on like, oh, I'm going to get abs, so I'm going to do all of these crunches and I'm going to get abs. No, it's a full body workout and your diet, because it's about like your body fat percentage. Same thing with like breasts. Like you can't eat as much as you want and then your breasts will grow. And I'm just like, okay, I can understand, like, breast augmentation. I get it. I get it. But then I'm just like, sometimes there's like a fine line of, is it compromising your health? Are you gonna get back pains from it? Or you going to have all of these other complications? I know that a lot of insurance companies won't cover you once you have like your breasts augmented when it comes to like breast cancer and such. Like, it has its pros and cons. I'm not at that position right now where I'm like, yes, I'm gonna get this done now, but I've been contemplating it for the past 2 to 3 years. I'm not gonna say just like everyone else, because I don't think everyone else has thought about like going under the knife in a sense of getting augmented, but like it has popped into my mind. But in a nutshell, like, this woman has been trying to gain weight so that she could get the fat like injected into her backside. And then my guy said, hey, look up Sarah Bartman. He said, research her, because he has talked to me about her before, and I guess she's one of 2 women that have been taken from South Africa to Europe, and she was a part of I guess like a freak show kind of thing because of her backside. She had enlarged breasts, she had enlarged vagina, she had an enlarged backside, and a lot of the photos that I was coming across, they kept comparing her to Kim Kardashian, and she was told, hey, like, you have an opportunity of earning a lot of money, you're gonna live well, you can send money back home, like this is your ticket out. No, they put her in a freak show. They took all of her money. Per the record that she had 2 kids, but they died as infants. She died at the age of 26, and I believe, she was in that whole freak show bit for about 2 to 3 years. They kicked her out, and so she went into prostitution, and then that's where she had an infection and she died. And it's still up in the air on if it was like syphilis, if it was any other type of STI, but she was doing it to attempt to survive. And I guess in France they were about 4 years out of slavery, but they figured out a way to enslave her. And because she didn't know what was going on, she put a lot of her trust into these people, especially a guy who was considered a free slave, because he got himself caught up in lending out money or possibly gambling, etc., etc. He decided to use another life to pay for his debt. And she lost her life because of that. And they didn't even do an autopsy on her to figure out how she died. They basically did like a body cast of her. They cut off her vagina, cut off her butt, and like put that on display in a museum. They have her skeleton basically like on display, and for 200 years like she was basically on display, and if she wasn't on display, she was in some boxes in France. And Kim Kardashian is idolized like that. Wow. And people were basically going through all of these hoops to try to get her body back, to give her a proper burial. And in my head I'm just like, shit. They basically had her twerking and doing all of these various things, and I'm just like, for my previous fitness posts, like, I would do a booty shot because I was proud of what I was able to create from all of my hard work. And I'm just like, well, here's a woman that was forced to do that, and here I am doing it. And it's like, wow. And just like knowing like the roots of that, wow. When it comes to like twerking and all of these other things, I'm just like, wow. It's just it's a little, wow. And then you see like Nicki Minaj and all of these other ladies like basically doing the same thing, because like in our current world, certain qualities are seen as attractive. I believe even Wendy Williams said like I was in like the time frame where like breasts were the thing, so like she got a breast augmentation. People make fun of her saying, I look like the letter P because she's so top heavy, but the rest of her is very skinny. And like now it's all about like ass, and I'm just like, growing up, that's why I'm low-key kind of afraid to like pop out kids, because I'm just like, yes, I could probably teach my kids like this is like the view on beauty and you are beautiful as you are, but I can say you're beautiful as you are, but like I have makeup on. I could say you're beautiful as you are, but maybe I may have already had like a breast augmentation by that time. Like all of these various things, and then you see all of these other people, and what if my kids are like, I want to look like that? Well, why? And who am I to say? Because, and then like, what am I, like a hypocrite or something? Like I don't know. And now I have a better understanding of where a lot of the confusion is coming from, because to some certain extent I'm even confused. I'm like, oh, what is the epitome of beauty? Like, what is it? And who created that? Why did they create it that way? And like, is it just like a trend-setting thing, like for the moment? Like, what's it going to be in like the next 10 to 20 years? Like, I know, like, you could see it with eyebrows. For my female viewers out there, you could see it with eyebrows. It was like super skinny, and people would overpluck to try to get that Pamela Anderson look with the arch and everything. And then you had like the fleeky look where everything was very pristine, and it's all about like the arch and like fuller right here and skinny, and tapered towards the end. And now it's like a bushier look. And then there's like all these other little trends that like little wavy eyebrows and doing all of these other crazy things. I know some people shave off their eyebrows, some people bleach them to make it look like they aren't even there, or they do various colors, but I'm just like, what is the epitome of beauty? And is beauty or perfection like in the eye of the beholder? Who's the beholder? Is the beholder you because you have eyes? Yesterday in class, like we were talking about like what is truth when it comes to nature that can be applied to everything. And then like we started getting into like deeper layers other than just like nature. We were just talking about like how society was within my group, and a guy was saying like, well, there was a tweet going out. Oh, battery, don't die. There's a tweet going around saying like, how can we tell that what's in the mirror is truth when our eyes are a lie? So I'm like, is it because we're taught that everything that we're seeing is a lie, or that it's false, or like, what's like the ultimate be? And then I started thinking about like Plato's allegory of the cave. It was so many layers. That's me going on my own tangent, but I'm just like, what is the epitome of beauty? And if a guy says, oh, you're beautiful, are you saying it because you can look past like all of the makeup and everything else, or is it because you're holding me to some type of standard that society has had that says that it's beautiful? Or like, what is it? It's so crazy. It's so crazy, especially when you could go like very lightly when it just comes to like makeup, or you could like really delve into it where people get plastic surgery and then they just go too far. But then again, to each person, what is too far? Getting 6 ribs taken out to have your waist be 14 inch, like what is it? I don't know. That was its own, I don't want to even say that it's a rant, but I'm just like, I'm so confused. I'm so confused. Will that stop me from doing a wing eyeliner? No. The whole breast augmentation thing, like, I'll cross that bridge if ever I do get to it, but I'm just like, at the end of the day, the decision is for me and me alone. But wow. I don't know. Or like how people are like, okay, I'm done having kids, okay, now I'm gonna get a tummy tuck and all these other various things. Like, are you doing it for society? Are you doing it for yourself? Like, or you should just be proud of what you have and just let it all just do its own thing? Like, I feel like it's different for every single person, but at the end of the day, like, in their mind's eye, it's right, and who is anyone to say you're wrong? And especially when it comes to society saying, oh, they didn't bounce back after like they had their kid and it's been 4 months. Well, who put a deadline on when your bounce back or your baby weight being gone? Who created that? I don't know. I feel like everyone has an opinion about everything, but I'm just sitting here, I'm just like confused, because I'm like, well, what's the truth? What is the truth? Like the ultimate truth, not like my truth or your opinion, or like, I don't know. What are your thoughts on this?